Let's start today's important news. Germany's conservative election winner, Friedrich Merz, he is going to become German chancellor very soon. And the Christian Democrats leader, Friedrich Merz, said he would reach out Social Democrats, that is, the previous Olaf Scholz party, to give some support. And also, in Germany elections, we have observed the far right party, AfD, getting around 20% of vote share. It's a record vote share till now for a far right party like AfD in Germany. Mr. Friedrich Merz, his age is 69, he said that he wants a ruling coalition in place within 2 months. So Germany can again act as the European and world stage in a better way after months of paralysis since Olaf Scholz coalition imploded in November 2024. Mr. Friedrich Merz, a committed transatlanticist, said he would seek good ties with the US under Donald Trump. So he was a committed transatlanticist. So he want to have transatlantic connections. What do you mean by transatlantic connections? The connections between Europe and America, Canada, Mexico, transatlantic connections. So most probably there is every likelihood that Mr. Friedrich Merz will become German Chancellor and his party is Christian Democrats. Belongs to Christian Democrat. They are center rightist parties, not far right, center rightist. And another bad news from Telangana. You all know that the Srisailam left bank canal tunnel collapsed 3 days back. 8 workers were stuck in that canal and there were fresh hurdles which delay the rescue operations to bring out 8 trapped in the Telangana tunnel. Uncertainty continued over the safety and survival of the 8 persons. 2 engineers, 2 technical staff, and 4 workers trapped 14 kilometers inside the under construction Srisailam left bank canal tunnel near Domalapenta in Nagar district of Telangana. As on Monday, that is yesterday, they are inside the tunnel for 60 hours. Despite round-the-clock work, fresh challenges prevented the joint rescue team. Almost 9 agencies are working, including National Disaster Response Force, State Disaster Response Force, Indian Army, Indian Navy, and also, most importantly, the rat hole miners. Many have come. Even the people who rescued in 2023, Uttarakhand's Siliara tunnel issue, they also have come forward to help our Srisailam tunnel. But in fact, the chances of survival are very, very bleak because almost 72 hours passed. Rescue operations are not moving forward because slush and water, that slush means water and mud, they are obstructing more and more. We cannot enter inside the tunnel. So it's very difficult now. The situation is looking worse, very worse. So this is a avoidable disaster. In fact, this Srisailam left bank canal, the initiation, the idea was mooted long back. And in 2004, under Jalayagnam project, they have started this. The anticipated completion of the period was 4 years. Even after 20 years, they could not complete it. So the works have become slow down, very, very slow down. This is a major reason why all these mishaps are happening. So it's a very bad incident, regrettable incident. Coming to the other news, Bihar is going to see polls, elections very soon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji initiated the transfer of 22,000 crores into the bank accounts of 9.8 crore farmers across the country under PM Kisan, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi from Bhagalpur in election-bound Bihar. Of the beneficiaries of this PM Kisan, more than 75 lakh farmers are from Bihar, where the assembly elections are due later this year. Under the scheme, rupees 2,000 was transferred to each farmer's account. This is given as a 19th installment of the PM Kisan scheme, which provides farmers with an annual income support of 6,000 rupees in 3 equal tranches. Chief Minister of Bihar, Mr. Nitish Kumar, and Union Agriculture Minister and others have presented at the event, and this is a interesting thing that Prime Minister Modi went to Bihar personally to distribute PM Kisan money. And other interesting news is coming up from Kyiv, Ukraine capital Kyiv. Ukraine and the America are working out details of an agreement that would give America access to Ukrainian natural resources in exchange for US support. Ukraine have issued a statement yesterday. Negotiations have triggered tensions with US officials, pressurizing Ukraine to sign a deal, despite Ukraine's insistence that initial drafts lacked vital guarantees. Ukrainian and US teams are in final stages of negotiations regarding the minerals agreement. The negotiations have been very constructive, with nearly all key details finalized. I can tell you, this agreement is by force. Literally, they are imposing it on Ukraine. Ukraine is very rich in critical minerals. The minerals which are important for defense, the minerals which are important for electronics. Already 20% of the Ukrainian territory was occupied by Russia. Already Russia is holding some control over minerals. Now America wanted share on it. Donald Trump says, I am ready to take 50% of critical minerals present in Ukraine. But Zelensky said, I am not ready. And now they are imposing or pressurizing Kyiv. Unless you provide us with critical minerals, we are going to end support of Starlink, and America is going to stop all funding and aid and support to Ukraine. So, unable to withstand this pressure, I think Ukraine is ready to go with a deal with America with respect to critical minerals. This is an important development with respect to IR. We should actually think of it carefully. Coming back, in today's editorial in Hindu paper, they have reflected some ideas where India is selling low quality drugs, generic drugs to the other countries. India's reputation for high quality generic drugs should not be put at risk. The pharmacy of the global south is facing a crisis of reputation. India is considered as a pharmacy of the global south. India is considered as the pharmacy of the global south. Now it is facing a reputation crisis. After cough syrups made by Indian pharma companies, which had unacceptable amounts of diethylene glycol and ethylene glycol, killed 66 children in Gambia and 65 children in Uzbekistan in 2022 and 12 children in Cameroon in 2023, and Indian made eye drops contaminated by drug resistant bacteria killed 3 persons and blinded 8 persons in America in 2023. The spotlight is back on Indian drug companies for all the wrong reasons. A BBC eye investigation has brought to light the criminal actions of Avio Pharma Company located at Maharashtra, which was manufacturing and exporting unapproved, highly addictive opioid drug combinations to West Africa. First of all, you should know, opioid means the drug which was manufactured by using opium. Generally, moderate amount of opium is used in cough syrups and other syrups and in some drugs for pain relief. But unapproved opioid drug is being sold by a company, Indian pharma company. The medicines contain tapentadol, a powerful opioid, and carisoprodol, a highly addictive muscle relaxant. While the Indian drug regulator has approved tapentadol and carisoprodol as standalone drugs, the combination have no clearance. Combining tapentadol and carisoprodol have no clearance, has no approval from Indian regulatory agency also. Even if the companies claim that the drug combination has been approved by state drug authority, turns out to be correct, it is still illegal, as the only Central Drug Standards Control Organization CDSCO can approve any novel fixed dose combination for safety and efficiency. It is only after the approval of CDSCO that the state drugs authorities can issue a manufacturing license. The health ministry routinely banning FDCs is only because The state drug authorities ignore the provisions in the law with impunity. So, this is the story. It also affects our foreign relations. It also affects our foreign relations. Think it over, okay? The RTI is now the right to deny information. The RTI is not to right to give the information, but right to deny the information. The RTI Act have come into force on October 12, 2005. The much awaited citizens' right to know, that is RTI. It brought new hope. Citizens have become the rulers of the nation with RTI, and it really brought Swaraj and smiles. But very soon the RTI Act was diluted by officialdums, delays and other things. Within few months of introduction of RTI Act, the government also realized that there was a transfer of power from public servants to the citizens. In less than a year, it moved to amend the law. If you observe, what is the important data which you have to take to write the examination? In the article, they have mentioned about Section 8. Section 8 of RTI Act deals with exemptions from RTI. Certain classified information, certain information relating to defense secrets, atomic energy secrets, and cabinet noting, certain important things cannot be revealed out. So, which cannot be asked under RTI. So, half of the article is about Section 8. And the RTI Act have created information commissions at the central level and at the state level. The RTI Act have created information commissions as the final appellate authorities to implement the RTI. Most of the posts of information commissioners were taken up by retired bureaucrats. Retired bureaucrats are becoming information commissioners at the central level and the state level. After working for decades as senior bureaucrats, it was difficult for them to hand over power to citizens and recognize that they were rightful owners of the government. So, as senior bureaucrats, they will never recognize that people have real power. In fact, they try to enjoy that power. No attempt was made to select the commissioners with a record in transparency. Many of them are looking RTI commissioner job as a post-retirement job. While the national average of disposal of cases by high courts is over 2,000 in a year, while the national average of the disposal of cases by high court judges is over 2,000 in a year, the national average of cases by information commissioners was less than this. Given the fact that the complexities of the cases before the commission is far less than the complexities of the cases before the high courts, each commissioner should have been clearing at least 5,000 cases in a year. So, they are not even clearing cases like high court judges, RTI commissioners. While the law mandated a period of 30 days for information to be provided and the same period for the first appellate authorities, it did not specify any time limit for the RTI commissioners. Many commissions began to have pendency for over a year. Once you appeal in RTI commission, that is information commission, even for first hearing, sometimes it is taking 1 year. The grievance, first hearing is taking at least 1 year sometimes. So, finally, the other is telling every citizen have a right to know, and every citizen have a right to become the ruler in his own nation. But RTI Act, because of many obstacles, it is not delivering the goods. This is the meaning. So, this is the takeaway from this article. So, you are expected to read more on this. Internet shutdowns. There is a big news that is coming up. Internet shutdowns highest in 2024 globally. India tops in government ordered shutdowns of internet. India did not impose the highest number of internet shutdowns last year, with Myanmar seeing one additional disruption in 2024. According to the report by Advocacy Body Access Now. Advocacy Body Access Now. However, the number of internet shutdowns imposed by the government in charge, that is union or state governments, is still higher in India. That is, government imposed internet shutdowns is higher in India. Overall, Myanmar tops the internet shutdowns in the world. Fewer shutdowns happened in India in 2024 than in the previous years. Of the 84 internet shutdowns in India, 41 shutdowns were related to protests and 21 were related to communal violence. Manipur, highest internet shutdowns, next followed by Haryana and Jammu Kashmir. More shutdowns happened globally in 2024 than any past year. Globally, more shutdowns, internet shutdowns happened in the world. In all, globally in all, 296 internet shutdowns happened globally in 2024. And in India, it is 84 shutdowns. If you observe the countries like Myanmar, Thailand, China, they all have imposed internet shutdowns. So, internet shutdown. 4 years back, Kerala High Court said right to access to internet is a fundamental right. And in Anuradha Basin case, Jammu Kashmir High Court also said right to access to internet is a basic right. But internet shutdown affects the basic rights of the citizens to have access to information. Please imagine a day without having access to internet in your life. It's very important. Think it over. Okay. Coming to the other important news, an earthquake of magnitude 5.1 hit the Bay of Bengal on Tuesday morning, that is today morning, February 25th, early morning of the year 2025. An earthquake of magnitude of 5.1 hit today early hours, with tremors felt in Kolkata and several parts of West Bengal. The National Center for Seismology reported that in the early hours of today, that is around 6:10 a.m., the earthquake occurred in the Bay of Bengal. Though the tremors caused momentary panic among the residents in Bengal and other areas, no immediate damage was reported or casualties surfaced. This comes just 2 days after a moderate intensity earthquake, but there is no damage reported so far with respect to this earthquake. Coming to the other important news from Canada, Canada's new visa rules may become a nightmare for Indian students workers. Almost 4 lakh students, Indian students, study in Canada. Canada's latest steps to curb migration is likely to have an adverse effect on tens and thousands of Indian students and also foreign students. It will also negatively impact those who apply for work and resident permits in Canada. These new rules have come into effect from the beginning of February and give unhindered, unobstructed powers to Canadian border officials to alter the visa status of students, workers and migrants at any time if they deem that such action is necessary. Under the new immigration and refugee protection regulations, Canadian border personnel are now vested with the powers to deny or reject temporary resident visas such as e-travel authorizations and other temporary visas to the people, even for tourists. This means that border officials can now cancel such documents which include work permits and student visas. However, there are some guidelines which need to be met in order to reject the visas. You all know that very soon Canada is going to see the elections. You should also know that Justin Trudeau, the Canadian Prime Minister, announced his resignation, and Justin Trudeau's party is going to fail badly in the elections. And in order to win over confidence of the people, now they are putting hard restrictions and regulations on immigrations inside Canada. New immigration rules have come in Canada. And the other most important news for today, with respect to international relations, the most important news. After 8 months gap, India and UK have resumed free trade agreement negotiations. Talks on free trade agreement between India and United Kingdom resumed on February 24th after 8 months gap. Negotiations on a very big FTA deal, which will significantly benefit both the nations, is at an advanced stage. The trade agreement, which is being worked upon between India and UK, aims to double or triple India-UK trade with a span of 10 years. The present India-UK trade is around $16–17 billion. Now we are planning to make it almost double or triple. India-UK bilateral FTA. On the one side, India is facing tariff threat from America. As you all know, Donald Trump said, I'm not going to spare anyone, including India, with respect to tariffs, because India is a tariff king. Now, India is looking at European countries to have better trade deals. The trade negotiations between India and UK stalled from the last 8 months. As you all know, Britain went for Brexit in 2016, and India has to make a separate deal with Britain. For that reason, from 2016 onwards, there was a discussion, but things were not finalized, and the trade negotiations were stalled from the last 8 months between India and UK. Very soon, we can see the realization of India-UK free trade agreement. This is the trending news that is coming up with respect to India-UK relations.